Welcome to the Fashionista Life podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Johnson. If you find yourself here, it may mean that you're looking for courage, clarity, or confidence in some part of your life. I interview experts in business, fashion, and life each week and share strategies for success, motivation, and mindset. If you want to learn more about the Fashionista Life and how I can help you grow your business as an extension of yourself and help transform you into a confident entrepreneur, check out my website, thefashionistalife.com, or join my private Facebook group at Clear Confident Female Entrepreneur. Today, we welcome back into the studio Tracy Duhaney, and she is the principal consultant and founder for the Amboselli Group, which is a boutique business and leadership consulting firm based here in Naples. And she primarily focuses on strategic planning, culture, and leadership development. And I have to laugh because literally before we came on air, I'm like, I think I need you. I'm kind of in an identity crisis at the moment.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, because as a business owner, like we were saying, we have so many ideas and thoughts and oh my gosh, we want to do them all at once because we're so excited.
Exactly. And it's not just business owners, it's anyone. How many times do you have a manager or a leader who says, well, we're going to do this, or we should look at this. And you're still trying to catch up from the last idea and saying, well, how are we going to do that? But it comes back to overall, okay, we can do anything. I firmly believe that anything is possible with a plan.
Yeah. And you're the planner.
I'm the planner. And that's where it comes back to. Anything is possible with a plan. So all of your identity crisis will be solved just with multiple plans.
So I love that you help people figure out what the heck they want to do in a year and 5 years and 10 years, whatever that case is, you help them plan strategically.
Yes. And it's really that focal point of what's the goal? What do we want? And how do we get there? And I can't tell you how many times I go in front of someone and say, what do you want? Mm-hmm. And they start saying these things and whatever it is. And I come back to think that's not what you want. That could either be what you think the business needs to do, where the market is telling you, but what do you want? And then I get the look of complete fear. Oh my gosh, how do I answer this? Because it's not something that people have thought of.
Right.
What do I want? Honestly, what do I want?
Like at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, what is my goal? Is my goal to travel the world? Is my goal to, I don't know, get married? Is my goal to go buy all the clothes in True Fashionista?
Right?
What is my goal? And we all have multiple goals, but really, what is that ultimate destination that we're working towards? For entrepreneurs, is my goal to eventually have my company sold? Is my goal eventually to have my child be the succession plan in place so that I can retire by X age? What is that ultimate goal? And a lot of people don't think that far ahead.
Because also you have to be honest with yourself and honest with yourself without making it feel like a lot of people don't want to be, let's say that, because they don't want to feel like they're being judged. So if you say, your thought in your mind is, I want to sell my businesses and retire and make a bunch of money, right? They may feel like if they say that to somebody, they're going to be judged, right? So you have to be honest.
That is completely accurate. My response to that is, if you're worried about that, you're saying it to the wrong people. Because
I like it. Yes.
Because when you have your true support system around you, or you're talking to the right crowd of people, you don't fear being judged. This is my goal. This is what I want. This is authentically what I'm working towards. And when that happens, the universe starts to put everything into play for that to happen. And, I've been working with a couple of clients, and usually when I'm working through their plans, I leave them with a question and I say, you don't have to answer me. Frankly, I don't want you to answer me, but what is it that you want to be the goal in this? And I need you to sit on that and really be honest about it. Don't feel you have to come back to me, but just be honest with yourself. And every time they say to me, that has stumped me. Well, we can work on everything else, but suppose we get 75% into what we're working on and you come back and say, this is not what I want.
Right.
We wasted time. We wasted resources. That is why I start with, what is it that you want? What is your goal? And I love the look of fear, not because I'm judging, but because it's a real question. When I left corporate America, I did not want to be working 60, 70 hours every week and have PTSD every time the phone rang. I didn't want that. I wanted flexibility. I wanted to be able to travel. I was honest with myself about that. And that comes with certain limitations, yes, but I had to be honest if I was going to accomplish it.
Do you think a lot of people don't know what they want just because we're in our normal day-to-day, grind it out. I go to work, we're autopilot.
We are. And it comes back to survival mode as well. For a lot of people that I got to do this, I got to go to work, I got to make money, I have kids to feed, I have mortgage, I have et cetera. And that survival mode, we blink. And then 10 years later, when did that happen?
Right. We just had that conversation.
Right. You blink and say, time is the one resource we can't get back. Mm-hmm. So when we're constantly in this grind mode or survival mode, time passes us by. You can always make more money, but you can't get more time.
And you don't realize it.
You don't.
Because you're in that zone.
Yes.
So how can you plan? How can you do any of that, planning for your future if you aren't, like we talked about the last podcast, being present?
One of the things that I found has worked for me, and I've charged a lot of with my clients to do, is a self-assessment. And I don't mean your Myers-Briggs or TTI, et cetera, but a self-assessment of myself daily. And this sounds like a lot of work, but it's not. At the end of the day, I go through my routine checklist of what was my highlight of today, what was my low light of today, and what can I improve? And I start to see patterns. If my highlights are all the same, working with people, talking to people, if those are my highlights, then there's something for me to discover more in that realm. If my lowlights are the same, working with people, talking to people, then I need to discover more in that, maybe I'm not in the right position.
Right.
But then the same thing, if my opportunities for improvement are the same, what do I need to discover? And it all looks back to tracking it and then looking at your trends and your habits. And then you can say, oh, I see a pattern for who I am. Let's dig deeper. And my favorite thing is to talk to someone.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that happens in natural conversation. It doesn't have to be a therapist. It doesn't have to be a counselor, but talk to someone who's on the same journey as you of self-discovery, because that's so important. That's why we always say we need a village.
We do.
To support us, especially as an entrepreneur. Am I being crazy? This is what I think. No, you're not being crazy. We're all that way.
Right. Right? And then when you say it, when you verbalize it to somebody who gets it, sometimes there's so much more clarity that comes back to you just by saying it to that person.
Yes.
It's strange how that works.
It is. And it comes back to that authenticity of this is what I want. The universe opens its doors.
Mm-hmm.
And I firmly believe that when you're going along a path that is not meant for you, doors are purposefully closing.
They sure are.
And you hit your head as if, why is this not happening? But the universe is telling you, redirect. My favorite thing is that scene in Friends where it's Ross on the couch, pivot.
People remember these things from shows. And the only thing I remember from any show is Will and Grace.
Okay.
Do you remember that show?
Not really.
Oh my God. Well, Will and Grace, she went out to an art gallery and she was wearing do you remember, like you probably don't, water bras? The bras that were padded with water.
Yes.
And something poked the bra and she was spraying the painting with her boob. I don't remember anything from Friends. I don't remember, but that's like the one thing I remember is from Will and Grace.
That's so interesting because not to segue, but in that one scene from Friends where they're trying to carry the couch up the stairs and there's a sharp corner and the couch will not fit. And Ross keeps saying, pivot. And they're saying, shut up. The
I gotta go see this now.
You have to. The couch will not pivot. And I love that scene because I psychoanalyze everything on TV. It's not what it says it is. But how many times as an entrepreneur do you have to pivot? Mm-hmm. And you are in this, you're working nicely down a path and you say, okay, that's not working. I got to pivot and try something else. But it's not necessarily that it wasn't going to work, but it wasn't going to work for you, right? Because that wasn't your direction.
It's not your journey.
Not your journey.
It happens for you.
Exactly.
Not to you.
Yes.
Love it. Is your closet overflowing? Or maybe your kids' closets are as well. Or maybe you just want to redecorate your house. If you're wondering what to do with all that stuff that you've accumulated, bring it all to True Fashionistas or even ship it to them for free. They'll sell your unwanted items for you and they take away all the hassle by doing all the work, and all you have to do is collect your money. You can reach out to them online at truefashionistas.com, come into the store or check them out on Facebook or Instagram, and that's truefashionistas.com. All right, we are back in the studio with Tracy Duhaney, and we have been talking about a lot of different things. I know we were going to talk about, we were set to talk about the power of positivity, And we just got off on a tangent talking about everything else.
We pivoted.
Okay, great analogy.
Yes.
We pivoted.
Yes.
So, talking about now, we'll go back into the power of positivity. Yes. Why is it important to always be positive for us and for our business?
I'm an empath, and that means that I respond a lot to energies. And what I found for myself was I could walk into a room and immediately sense the energy in the room, and that would drain my own energy. And being around people that are negative is completely toxic for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to create those boundaries as to you do you and I will do me. And it may just be in separate rooms or separate realms. Now, positivity doesn't mean that I'm walking around thinking that I'm walking on clouds. This is not Barbie.
Butterflies and rainbows.
Right. But this is a case of I'm going to choose to see the positive in every situation. And the positive could be as simple as I'm alive today. I have blessings. I have a roof over my head. I have food to eat. These are all positive things that I focus on, even if the world is crumbling around me. And that has shifted my perspective when it comes to what is it in this moment that I need to learn,
Mm-hmm.
or what is it trying to show me? And when I focus on the positive side of it, I tend to see the silver lining a lot quicker than if I'm just being negative Nancy and thinking everything is going to fail.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have tips for people that you share with people on how to carry that out?
Well,
because you could talk about it, but then it's like, well, how the heck do I actually put this into action and make it work?
And don't get me wrong, I have my moments too. I'm only human, but my 3 things that I focus on are any moment. What is this trying to show me? Was it trying to teach me? And what do I need to learn from it? And with that, I'm able to break it down. It's not as bad as it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, as an entrepreneur, there are things that we worry about. How are we going to pay this? Our clients haven't paid us yet. Where's the next client coming from? We're constantly in that mode of how, and we're anxious about the future. And for me, when I focus on this moment, it's the clients did come before. They will come again. I have been able to pay these things. I will do it again. That's where I focus on. When you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it has happened. It will happen. It's not that it never happened, so it will never happen, right? And when you break it down, I recognize, okay, there are blessings here. I just need to slow down. So that would be my number 1 tip. Slow down.
Okay.
And not be as anxious about the next thing, which again is hard because
it's very hard.
I'm saying it and you're looking at me like, how do I do that?
As I'm over here fidgeting.
Like, okay. But it's slow down and really be intentional with your thoughts and intentional in what you want to accomplish in this moment would be 1 tip that I start with. My second tip would be appreciation, gratitude. There's so many things that each of us has to be grateful for. And again, it's starting with life for yet another day. I am so grateful every day I get to wake up and say, what can I accomplish today? Or what problem can I solve today? Right? Gratitude. When you start being intentionally grateful, you're starting to see that your mood immediately shifts. And I was at a conference and the speaker started saying, name 10 things that you're grateful for right now. You start to realize that this gets harder once you get to item number 6. And it shouldn't be that hard, but we start looking for what are the big things we're grateful for versus the little things. I'm grateful to be in this moment. I'm grateful to be able to attend that conference, to be here with you. Once we start going to the little things, they add up into big things. So being grateful and present would be my 2 top tips to focus on.
I love that. All right. Well, I'm going to implement those for sure. I'm like, she's talking to me. She's not talking to y'all. She's looking at me. She's talking to me.
Yes. Yeah. I'm feeling the energy.
Like I need to slow down.
Yes.
Yes. I've always been told that.
Really?
Probably from the day I came out of the womb. My dad was always the one, Jennifer, you need to slow down a little bit.
And there's a reason. How many things do we hear from our parents when we're younger?
Oh, and they're never right then, but they're always right.
And then you get to the age when they were when they said it. And you literally sit there and say, I get it now.
Yep. And I have my children and I'm telling them, hey, you listen to me. I know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. But let me find another way of delivering this message. Not like our parents did, where just do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
I say that to my mother all the time, and she just rolls her eyes and like, so do as I say, not as I do.
Mm-hmm. Their parents are always right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, we're going to go into our speed round questions.
Okay.
And they're just simple little questions that I just love to hear your answers.
Okay.
What is one thing that you wish you would have known 5 years ago?
That time doesn't stop. It's not that I didn't know it, but it should have been a focal point. That time will continue moving and you can't get more of it. And I would have been more intentional 5 years ago, or over the course of the last 5 years, with the risks I took and the decisions I made. Because we always think, we'll do that next year. We'll do it when this happens. We'll do that. We'll do that. We'll do that. And it's always a future action versus time's not stopping for anyone.
Right. You put it off, put it off. I used to have this round circle and it said, this is a round to it. And you're like, I'll do it when I get around to it.
Oh, got it. Okay. I was so confused.
I wish I had the cricket button.
I'm sorry, but I was like, this is around to the circle. Okay, got it.
So when somebody says, oh yeah, I'll do it when I get around to it, you hand it to them.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Here's a round to it.
Okay.
I know. But such a bad joke. Anyway, what's your formula for success?
Authenticity.
Why?
Because I believe that if I'm authentic with the person I'm speaking with, whether it be a current or future client, or someone who's going to refer me, if I'm authentic, people will see that and people choose to do business with people they trust. If you're not authentic, it's less likely that they're going to trust you.
And a lot of times you can see through that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my ultimate suggestion.
Okay. And if a small business owner could do one thing to transform their business, what would you tell them?
Have a plan.
Why did I know?
I mean, I'm just saying.
Why did I know?
I looked at you and I said,
and I looked down.
But have a plan, and it's not, and I don't mean the business plan that you had to create to get the loan. Right? That's 10 pages long, that you did it and you never looked at it ever again. But the bank said, yes, we're going to take a chance on you. It's have a plan, have an actual action plan of what you're going to do, not something that's gathering dust because you printed it in a file. It is something that you can say, okay, in order to achieve this, I need to do all of these. My favorite thing is to do SMART goals, and I have my worksheets and say, these are all the things I need to do. And then I track it, right? And I say, okay, I succeeded or I failed. Why did I fail? What could I have done differently?
It's funny that you say tracking. Like, I can make those lists, but I am the worst tracker.
And it's not as cumbersome as it seems. People think tracking and it's like you have to meal track and you have to put it in. It's not like that. It's literally, we overwhelm ourselves by thinking we have to do 10 goals together, which track 10 things for 10 goals. Start small, but have a plan.
Have a plan. I should have answered that.
No, I was waiting for you to say, because we just talked about it.
But I have one closing question, because now that you've got me thinking, you said business plan. Do you notice in your business that more people are doing a vision board instead of a business plan, or not really?
It depends on the industry the client is in. I find that there's a condensed business plan that's usually 1 to 2 pages that they're doing, which has what looks like a graph on it, and it just has a different segments. So it's something that can easily be referred back to. But as to a big on the side of the wall vision plan, it depends on the client and the industry. Some do, especially if they have teams, so they can all look towards it, or it could be a digital vision board. Same thing if you have teams, but if you're a solopreneur, it's something that you may not need to have in big writing, but have a condensed form.
Fabulous. I loved our conversation.
I did
today.
Too.
And the last podcast we did was amazing. I mean, so awesome. If our listeners would like to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
My website is www.theamboselligroup.com. And the Amboselli Group is the handle for all social media platforms. For me personally, my Instagram handle is @Tracy Duhaney. Got to throw that Ann in there.
I know.
Thanks to mom.
I had to do the same thing.
Exactly. And then my favorite platform is LinkedIn because I love merging personal and professional together into one authentic self and connecting with people all over the world and see how we can make business better.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you.
And thank you to all my friends for joining me today here and every week on The Fashionista Life, brought to you by True Fashionistas. If you want a deeper dive, head to my website, thefashionistalife.com, to sign up for my emails where we take a deeper dive each week into a new topic for you and your small business. Have a fabulous day.